How to get in shape as a busy guy. Hi everyone, Dan back here from the Geek Physique for another video. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell. All the men we work with are busy. That is the one characteristic they share. So when I get asked what makes what we do different, that is genuinely what we specialize in. They are shift workers, day and night, dads, business owners, they've been carers, right? Office jobs where they have to do shift and support work as well. And a lot of these shift workers, usually those shifts change at a moment's notice. So every week their schedule could be different. Okay, so this is something I believe and I like to think that we specialize in. Point number one, all great men are busy. Think of anyone you admire. Are they sitting around doing nothing? Of course they're not, right? I know this seems pretty obvious and it might not need to be said in some people's eyes, but that is what I say to a lot of guys who kind of get down on themselves when they tell me that they struggle with time. I ask them, do you agree that all great men are busy? And that's not me trying to lead them somewhere with the conversation. It's me genuinely trying to meet them where they're at and say, I understand how you feel, but if you see yourself as a good man, as a great man, then you're most likely going to be busy. That's never going to change. So what are you going to do about it? So the first step is realizing it's possible to get in shape as a busy guy with the right approach, of course. And to think that if there are guys out there, good guys, great men, right, that are crazy busy, maybe they have multiple jobs and a family and they're in good shape, why can't you do it too? Right now, they may be a small percentage, when you look at people overall, but why can't you be in that small percentage? Right? So realizing it's possible, I think, is a mindset shift to going, I can do this. It does, honestly, it sounds a bit airy-fairy, I know, but it does start with belief. If you don't believe it, then how is it even going to be possible, right? Step 2, scheduling. Block out the time for the things you need to do for your health and fitness, just like you would do for your work and your family. Now, you might think, well, I don't block out time, it's blocked out for me. And people don't even say this, but it's just assumed, right? Well, that's just my work schedule. And I need to work to earn my money, to pay my mortgage, etc., right? But you need your health so you can go to work. You need your health so you can be there for your family. So even if it's not to be in shape in terms of, I want to be ripped, I want to be a fitness boy, I want to be like Insta-worthy, right? I'm talking about what being in shape means for you. So if you're a dad and you want to have energy to play with your kids, right? That's what being in shape means to you, okay? It may not be what other people even watching this video deem as, oh, you're not even in shape, man. But you could be well overweight, you could get your energy back, play with your kids, get rid of your back pain, get rid of your knee pain, and get a bit of a nicer body shape, right? I think that's a great goal to have, okay? But to do that, you need to respect the activities and the habits needed as much as your family and your work. Now, people are resistant to this in the beginning, but let me flip it on you again. It's respecting yourself. Because if you put yourself first, you can then give from your overflow, okay? I'm going to say that one more time. If you put yourself first, you can give from your overflow rather than trying to give to people and other things in your life when you're already half empty. Oh, I don't have any energy to work out. Well, maybe if you just did a workout, you'd then gain more energy to keep doing those workouts and have more energy for your family and work, which actually does happen 99.9% of the time with the men that we work with. So those things, your family, your work, they're seen as non-negotiables, right? You have to do them. People would think of you as a bad man if you didn't do them. So at kind of every level of the analysis, whether you look at it yourself, what your family thinks, what your friends think, what society thinks of you, would expect you to do those things. You have to get your kids to school on time, right? It's your duty as their dad. You have to be at work on time. Otherwise, you could get fired, right? And the benefits of doing those things are your kid will be obviously learning the value of being punctual, and the school will think highly of them. And then for your work, you'll get a promotion, etc., etc. So you need to respect your health and fitness and the goals of getting into shape in the same way you do the other most important things in your life. And if you think, okay, I cannot square that circle, they are the most important things in my life, I would do anything for my children. Okay, fine. What if you're not even around to be there for your children? Now, you might think that's a bit extreme if you're watching this video. You might just want to lose a bit of fat, build a bit of muscle. But there have been literally plenty of people that have said to me in the last few years, and I've spoken to hundreds of men, if I don't do this, Dan, in a year's time, I might not even be around to be there for my family and earn this money and do things for them, right? So it can be that deep. So if you put yourself first, you can then be there for them that much more. Number 3, workouts. The overwhelming majority of the guys we work with train full body 2 to 3 times a week with at least 1 day of rest in between each session, and that totals up to 3 hours a week of training. Okay, just 3 hours a week of training. Now think about how many hours you have in a week. There's 168 hours in a week. That is 1.8% of the time you have in the week. Okay, so you have the time, right? There is no one working every single hour God sends, even if you're working 12-hour shifts or even more. We've worked with carers in the past that have worked 12-hour shifts, but because of their job was driving around, they would do 16-hour days and they would still have time for 2 to 3 sessions a week, full body. So if they can do it, what's your excuse, right? Now, the benefits of doing full body workouts are as follows. You ensure that everything gets enough volume throughout the week to actually make a change, okay? You need a certain amount of volume per muscle group to actually shape it and improve it, right? To make it bigger, to become more toned, whatever your goal is, essentially it takes the same kind of method to get there, which is you need to give it a certain amount of stimulus, a certain amount of volume to actually make a change. Okay, that's one benefit. The other benefit is the flexibility, right? If you have like a day rest or even 2 days of rest in between each session, if you need to push back a session, you can. What I say to our guys is, instead of thinking about it having to be on set days, just think about making sure you get at least 1 day of rest, if not 2 in some cases, but you get each session done like every 7 days, if that makes sense. So we split them up into A, B, and C. If you're doing, let's say, 3, you should do A in, once you've done it in 7 days time again, and roughly around that. Or another way to think about it is you should do the 3 sessions over a 7-day period. Okay. That's another way to think about it, and that's what you should shoot for. But that gives you the flexibility to say, okay, if I need to push back a day, I can, right? And it doesn't affect it doesn't change the effectiveness of the workout. Another benefit, and there is a big debate about this online, between bro splits and upper lower splits, full body splits. So what's the best split for you? There is such a thing as junk volume, meaning if you do too much on one muscle group in one session, to the later exercises and sets are just not going to be of the kind of quality to actually be worthwhile doing. And I see this all the time. People say, I'm doing chest today, and they do every exercise you can think of: cable fly, dumbbell fly, bench press, dumbbell press, machine press. They're doing so many chest exercises when they could probably do like maybe 3 to 4 max on that body part. That's max, by the way, in one session. Go for quality as well as quantity. Like I said before, you have to do a certain amount of volume, right? But what I'm all about is making sure you can do the least amount of work possible for the most amount of return. Because remember, this is not for the guy that has all the time in the world. The more time you have, yes, the more you can split up your workouts. And, push pull legs is a super effective split. If you do that 2 times a week for someone who has the time, that's 6 workouts a week, you can get so much out of the gym. But that doesn't mean you can't get a lot out of the gym doing 2 or 3 full body workouts a week. They just need to be optimized correctly. Okay. And a last point on workouts, this isn't one of the benefits, but it's something to think about. You want to make sure each of the muscle groups has a certain amount of volume per week and spread over the session. So what I like to do for our guys is make each session a focus. So all of them are full body workouts, but one of them's a push focus, one of them's a legs focus, and one of them's a pull focus. So the volume, the sets on those focus days is more. So everything, you get a bit of a pump on those things a bit more on those days. So you still got that nice pump factor, which you'd get if you did like a dedicated pull day or something. But you're doing a little bit of everything. That also helps because if you just miss a day and the week is so crazy, let's say you aim to do 3 sessions a week, but you've only got those 2 in 7 days, you've still worked out everything a good amount in those 7 days, right? Keep that in mind. Whereas if you did like push pull legs on 3 days and you miss legs, then you've missed legs that week, right? And you might say, well, I'll just roll my schedule over. But what if that keeps happening to you, right? And I do see that all the time. People said that to me when I made a post about this a week or so ago. And I said, but people sometimes don't have that luxury because that's what their life is a lot. They have to change. They don't have a set schedule, and some people don't realize how busy other people are. And those are the people sometimes that say they don't have the time, and they don't even really understand what that means. Then they meet a guy who's a shift worker, working day shifts, night shifts, and is in good shape. That is a man to admire, right? Not just the guy with loads of money and loads of girls and all of that stuff, but the guy who's doing hard graft and taking good care of himself. How can you not admire that guy, right? So, that's workouts. Number 4, food. Food prep and batch cook. This is so key. There are times of the week for everyone. This includes the types of guys I've already talked about because I have experience working with these guys, right? Everyone has a time of the week or pockets of the week, maybe not a massive amount of time, but pockets where they're less busy. Now, you may use this time currently to chill. And I'm not saying you have to use all of your chill time to do this, but I would actually stress that you use your chill time earlier on in the week and front load the work. Just like I would advocate for training in the morning if you can. It might not work for everyone. I would say as early as you can in the week, batch cook, meal prep. You might say, but I'm watching this Netflix show and I usually watch an episode or 2 on a Sunday evening before the week gets crazy, or on a Monday once I finish my long shift. Put the work in, batch cook, get as much food prep as you can done, and think of it like this. If you're using the justification that, but I need my chill time, right? What you're kind of doing is you're trading pleasure in the present for more stress in the future. Because I know for sure from working with these guys, there are going to be times where stuff doesn't go your way, right? Things change, your schedule changes, and you're not able to maybe cook on the fly or get something good on the fly. And then you maybe go for a bad option. And if you just put the work in up front when you had the time, you would have then had a good option. So you need to flip that mindset and trade and have stress in the current for pleasure in the future, so that when those times happen, and they will happen, right? They will happen. So this is something I didn't mention for workouts, but it's something for food and workouts and scheduling in general. Plan for worst case scenario, not best. Something people do wrong. If work finishes on time and I don't get in an argument with my partner and my kid actually gets home on time, then I'll go to the gym. No, you have to plan for worst case scenario. Then you know the plan will happen no matter what happens, right? And even then, life isn't perfect. Even then, I'm under no illusion, life isn't perfect. That's why those pockets of time you do have, use them, right? I was planning to do this video tomorrow, but I have a pocket of time. I thought, why don't I get ahead of the game, do it now, because I'm going to buy some time back from tomorrow. And another point on this is snacking. Snacking is not bad. It's quick and it's easy. That's why people do it. Okay, sometimes they do it because they're bored, but again, this is for the busy guy. I'm sure a lot of busy guys are not really bored, right? So, what? Getting back to my point, snacking is not bad. It's quick and easy, right? Just make sure you have the right options at hand. This is where people fall down. They'll pick, a chocolate bar and some crisps, or if they get a meal deal, which I don't actually hate on meal deals. If you get the right meal deal, it could be really good for your goals and the numbers you need to achieve, right? Okay, it might not be as nutritious as and good as a home cooked meal. Okay, but we're trying to get the best of a bad situation, right? And so what you want to do is focus on protein snacks, fruit, things of that nature, because it's quick, it's easy, but it will help you for your goals and your daily targets in terms of your protein and your calories, right? Because fruit and protein snacks, they'll fill you up. If you get the right ones, there are genuinely tasty snacks out there. Okay, it might not be as tasty as some of the actual snacks you're used to, right? Go into that again, go in knowing that. Don't go in with some expectation that it's going to be the tastiest thing ever, right? But once you get used to them, you start to actually like certain ones more than other ones, right? Like I'll go to my friends who are into gym and I say, I like this. And they say, actually, I don't like that snack or that type of whey protein or whatever it is. I prefer this one. And then you understand that actually, when you get into these things, there are snacks that you do like more than others. So pick those. My last tip on this is have a variation, right? Variation is the spice of life, and that way you won't get bored. So keep your cupboards, and if you're a driver or something, keep your car or your truck or whatever it is, or your lorry or van, whatever, have it stocked like your cupboards, filled with good options, so that if you ever need them, you have something quick, good at hand, that's going to keep you on track. Point number 5. How to stay on track. Now, obviously this whole video has been about this, but what if your schedule changes? I would refer back to my scheduling point. Making something a non-negotiable means it's done no matter what. But like I've said a few times in this video, even with the perfect plan, sometimes things get in the way. So in this case, you do not, this is really crucial, you want to expect this. Like, notice I've said this a lot, that you should expect things to happen, because that's been your life up till now, right? Don't get loads of motivation and go, yeah, I'm going to do this. And then when things don't go your way, you then get frustrated and quit. So many guys do that. And it goes for injuries as well, right? So it's a quick side point, but people get injured and they go, well, if I can't do my whole gym plan, I'm just not going to go to the gym. It's such a lazy excuse, okay? One of our guys, they had a cycling accident, and I said to them, do you know what? Don't use it as an excuse. Go to the gym. Don't even use the lightest weight ever, and just test what moves you can do. Make a note and then do the moves you can do, because at least that's better than nothing, and you can get those parts of your body in shape. You can keep your weight down as well, because you're going to remain active, and you're going to keep your mindset in that routine, right? You're going to keep practicing those good habits of using your workout app, of using your food tracker app, of hitting your schedule every week. So then when you get back to being able to do the things you could do, you're just adding those exercises back in. Going back to my point around your schedule, if it really gets thrown off, use it as a chance to do two things. One, plan the soonest time you can do that workout. Okay, the soonest time you can do it. So another one of our guys this week, he reached out to me right at the start of the week and he said, I know I'm going to have the craziest busy week, so I'm going to shift all my workouts back by one day. Thought, that's great. You've already way to go to massive win for keeping yourself on track. And he was like, is it going to be okay? Is anything going to be affected? And that to me shows a sense of dedication. He's near to his first 8 weeks with us. He's got great results. And he is really gained some momentum, right? So he doesn't want to break that momentum, but just by pivoting, we talked about it. I said, this is great for your momentum, because it's proving to yourself that if life throws you a curveball, you can then keep on track, keep moving forward. Okay. So don't use it as an excuse to quit. I know it can sometimes break your spirit when you get into a good routine, but flip that mindset and use it as a chance to learn, right? So that's the second point here, is learn from that thing. Maybe it's something that keeps happening and you need to change it. I'll give you one example very quickly. One of our guys, another one, he works for the NHS, and it might seem like a simple thing to some of you, but honestly, guys, a lot of the time, these things can be simple. We just need to talk about them, look at how they're going to work in our life, and everybody's situation is different. But this guy in particular, he kept trying to work out in the evening, and he does long shifts, but they do start around like 7 or 8 a.m., right? So he's up early anyway, but he worked out that he told me that his gym is right next to his work. So I said, you should go in the morning, man. You already wake up early, just wake up a bit earlier, go to bed earlier, get your workout done in the morning, and you only have to do it 3 days a week anyway, and then you've done it first. And if you stay late at work, which he basically does every day anyway, so if his work should finish at, 8, it actually usually finishes at 9 or 10, you've already done your workout. Great, right? And then if you, like I said in my previous points, if you food prep and batch cook on the weekend, when you get home late, you've already got a good meal there. So you can see how all these points hang together. So I hope this has been helpful. I'm going to recap these points. Point number 1 was all great men are busy. So if they can stay in shape and get in shape, why can't you? Number 2, scheduling. Treat your health and fitness as a non-negotiable, like the other important things in your life. Number 3, workouts. Make sure you actually pick a workout plan you can stick to, worst case scenario. Number 4, do the hard work first by batch cooking, food prep, and snacking is not bad. Just make sure you have the right snack options. And number 5, how to stay on track when things go wrong and your schedule changes. There's probably going to be a video here or here to keep watching. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure you like the video if it was helpful. Leave a comment below if you've got any questions. Subscribe to the channel, like I said, and ring that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one.